Yeah, it's wild. Sweet, were you there the whole time? I know Ash was. BZ, were you? Yup. Oh my god. Wow, sweet. Wow. All right, you stinking idiots. Oh wow, I see Quarter in here. What's up, Quarter? And Numini, welcome back. You didn't get rid of me just yet. Haha. Oh, here's Bread. What's up, Bread? If you're just joining, we're talking in the workshop chat, not the text channel anymore. Um, so you may need to update your Discord because I know it's like a new update, but anyway. Yeah, so that's where we are. Okay, cool. So I'll stop stalling. All right, so yeah, so this is just a little chill chat session for the graduates of the previous boot camp. Um, I know that all of you, so actually some of you left in your feedback forms that you wanted to see a Go to Goats contract review, or you wanted to see like a more real world scenario of like what you learned. So in this session, we're going to be reviewing the Go to Goats contract, and afterwards I'm going to introduce all of you to our FCL or AK DApp development course. And hopefully that should interest some of you who want to start building your own applications. So yeah. All right. Well, let's just get started. So oh, I don't even know how to hide the grid. Oh, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure. Um just to hear you trash talk about the graduates. Yeah. Yeah, so for anyone that went to the event last night, I was definitely trash talking all of you, saying that you would never live up to me, which is true, of course, but you can certainly try. Anyways, so in this, yeah, so on my screen right here, I'm showing my screen. These are the Go to Goats contracts. So you can probably notice there's actually quite a few. But we're really gonna focus on the actual like Go to Goats contract, which is like the non-fungible token. Um, so that's what, yeah, that's what we're gonna focus on because they also have like a manager, traits, and trait packs. But maybe that's too into the weeds for what we want to do today. So and we already sort of learned about NFT contracts, so no better time to review it than now. All right. So with that being said, I haven't even ever looked at this contract, so I'm pretty much going to be discovering it with all of you right now, and maybe that'll help, you know, give you some insight into what I look for. But anyways, so yeah, this is the Go to Goats contract, and one of the like because I've looked at so many NFT contracts at this point. My go-to question is always how they handle metadata. I always get really curious to see if they take an on-chain or off-chain approach. Um, but yeah. Oh, I want to hide this. Hmm. Yeah, I wonder how you can like. Yeah, it's. I'm not. I'm so bad at Discord to be honest. I wouldn't know how to do that. Anyway, so this is pretty standard stuff. If you remember back to our boot camp, you see that they're implementing the non-fungible token standard here. So that is like they're an official NFT contract, right? So of course they have to have a withdraw and deposit function, and they even leave that in a comment here, right? Non-fungible token standard events, because these three are all in the NFT standard. So yeah, this is pretty straightforward. And then it looks like they also have some added events. So remember we talked about events in our bootcamp, and it looks like they added a mint and burn event. So yes, I am recording. Thanks, BC. So it looks like they added a mint and burn event. So if we actually go, I'm gonna actually just search in this contract. I'm curious, where are they calling this mint event? So they're calling it right here a mint event, and where is this happening? This is happening inside of the Nft Resource, in the init function. So it's happening right here, and that makes sense, right? Because when an NFT is created in the init function, they're emitting, boom, the mint event. So that's pretty cool. And then I would imagine that yes, in the destroy function, which is when this resource gets destroyed, they're calling the burn event, right? So they're emitting the burn event, which is this line right here. Cool. So that's pretty straightforward. Nothing really much going on there. So this is one thing we didn't really talk about that much actually, but it's named paths. So you'll likely see this in like pretty much every single NFT contract you write. But basically, what these are is they're storage and public paths. So what this actually looks like is just basically just like this, slash like goated goats collection. Like that's pretty much what that is. It's just that it looks nicer this way, so that in all your transactions and scripts, you can just call goated goats dot collection storage path instead of having to write like slash storage slash goated goats whatever, right? So if we actually scroll all the way down here, you'll see that in the contracts init function, they're actually setting collection storage path to slash storage slash goat collection, and then the public path slash public slash goat collection. So again, it's just it's nicer because in your code you can just call go to goats dot collection storage path or collection public path as a variable instead of having to write out your paths every time. So that's one thing that's helpful, and you'll see that's a very common pattern across almost all NFT contracts. So moving on, we have a total supply, right? Pretty standard. You actually have to have this because of the NFT standard, so that's obvious. And it looks like they have a goat. Well, okay, this is interesting. So this I don't understand. So go to goats fields. Why do they have a name? Let's see. What are they setting the name to? Just to go to goats. All right. So I'm not quite sure what the purpose of that is. I'm not sure why you would ever call go to goats.name, but I mean, pretty cool, I guess. Yeah, I don't think there's a purpose for that, but that is, I guess that's there. So maybe that, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. So then we move on to the more complicated part, and right away, this is a, you can see pretty much right away that they're handling metadata on chain. So it's really interesting because for a little context, metadata is always the pain point with NFT collections, like figuring out where to store them. Because, the problem or part of the problem is, you have a bunch of NFTs, right? You have generative art, right? So you can imagine the artist has like thousands of pictures, right? That they want to put in their NFTs. The problem is, when do you put them in the NFTs, right? Do you put them on like an off-chain storage like IPFS and then put the link to IPFS in the contract, or do you actually literally store the metadata in the contract itself? So it actually is a really complicated question, and it's a question that we've actually had to explore really in depth because of the token minter platform we're building, where artists can upload their generative art and get a collection. So the answer usually on Flow, unlike Ethereum, where you store all your metadata off chain, on Flow you store all your metadata on chain. So metadata, I guess all of you know what that is at this point, but metadata is the information about each NFT, right? So its rarity, its picture, its name, its description, that kind of stuff. So you can see they're storing it right here. And I guess it's access self because right now there's an anti-pattern where you can modify dictionaries if it's pub. But anyways, so yeah, so going on what BZ said, so off-chain storage IPFS usually for complex files like images and videos, on-chain on Flow usually stores strings and numbers. Yeah, exactly. So just like BZ said, and then for you Ethereum people, I don't know why you would ever consider that trash chain, but if you were, you would notice that metadata on Ethereum is all off-chain, so it's not, none of it's on-chain. Yeah, eSolution moved to Flow. Agreed. Completely agreed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna skip over these three for now, and we're gonna come back to when we have a better understanding of what they're actually doing. So, and we're gonna skip this as well because this is also to do with metadata. So let's skip to the NFT resource. And by the way, if you ever have any questions, just let me know. I'm just reviewing the chat just to make sure that there's no questions. Looks like we're good. Okay, cool. So yeah, so this is the NFT resource that all of you remember. And you can see that right away it fits the non-fungible token.inft that we talked about, which is great, right? Now, one thing that's going to be really interesting to talk about in this session is the metadata standard. The metadata standard we actually didn't talk about in our bootcamp, but it's becoming more and more important over time. And that's because it's a new standard, I guess, that all NFTs should implement. They don't have to, but they should, to make discoverability much easier. So without really going into too much what metadata fused.resolver is, basically the metadata standard is a way to view your NFTs. it's a way to tell dApps or clients or people how to view your NFT. And that's done with these two functions right here. So get views basically it returns all the different types of ways to view the NFT. So metadata views.display basically means you have to return a struct with a name, description, and image. So if we go down here, you'll notice that in this resolve view type, you pass in like a type of view, which is what you're returning up here. And if you pass in the correct type, you can see that it returns, right? Case if it's a metadata views.display, it returns a display with a name, description, and thumbnail, which is just an image. So Quarter says, would that be used in a marketplace? So again, you don't really have to. I think you're talking about the metadata standard. You don't have to, but it is nice to support the metadata standard because it allows projects like .find to support your NFTs. And also it allows marketplaces to view your NFTs a little bit easier. Yeah, because, just in short, the reason for this is because instead of having to return a reference to the entire NFT, you can just return a little struct that has the information you need, which is the name, description, and thumbnail. Yeah, like in the future, like marketplaces are actually going to support a royalty view. So this is called a display view. They're going to support a royalty view to handle royalties, or at least that's the hope. But it's not like fully integrated yet. And to be honest, like I barely even understand what the royalty view is yet because it's not even like an official thing yet, I think.
Jacob, it is an official thing because you can go to the repo on Flow and they actually have implemented royalty views.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and I would definitely like if you're gonna make your own NFT project, like you absolutely should support metadata views.resolver. Just because it's like it allows .find and all like other projects to really easily view your NFTs. Where's Raven when I need him? Yep. Cool. So in this NFT resource, you can see there's a few different things. One is the ID, which is necessary, right? So you have to have the ID, because that comes from the INFT interface. So that's one thing that's pretty easy. And I wonder, what are they setting the ID to? So, okay, we'll come back to that. So inside here we have the GOAT ID. So I'm wondering what the GOAT ID is, but we'll figure that out soon. It has trait actions. Okay, what's that? So the following four can be constants as they're only updated on burn mints. Keeps count of how many trait actions have taken place in this GOAT. Equip, unequip. Oh, interesting. So for those of you that are Go to Goats fans, I actually haven't looked into the project that much, but I'm assuming maybe you know what this means. Like keeps count of how many trait actions have taken place in this GOAT. Equip, unequip. I've never heard of that, but I'm sure. Is Q here? Q is here. Nice.
I think it's because the Go to Goats, they have like each NFT has some slots. So it's like, your goat can have 4 slots. That means that it can wear 4 items. If it has 7 slots, it means it can wear 7 like total items.
Ah, that's pretty cool. I guess the thing that's really interesting about this is that you can notice it's a constant. So they make it a constant here, which is interesting because it sounds like you can change. You can equip, unequip. Like equip, unequip sounds like that's a constant thing that's happening. So it's weird that that's a constant here because you can't like change this number.
Yeah, they want it to be immutable, like how many slots a goat can have.
Oh, nice. So yeah, and like in here, so this is the last. Okay, so then they also have like a last. So I think these are just like helpers. Like these are just like niceties to have. But so there's also a last trait action date, which is the last time a trait action took place. So they store that as well, which is pretty nice. And also the time the goat was created independent of equip, unequip. So I'm sure it might, if you're into Go to Goats, I'm sure you know what that means as well. But this is the cool part right here. So this is the I think this is like where like the composable NFT aspect comes in. which is sort of like Flovitar actually. Yeah, exactly like Quarter said, because in here, you'll notice that there's NFTs inside of NFTs, which is, nested resources, or in other words, like composable, right? Because you're taking NFTs and you're composing it into one larger NFT. So it looks like what they're doing is they're mapping strings, like the name of the trait, so like clothing or background, whatever it may be that in rotation said, and they're mapping it to a GoToGoats trait NFT, which if we go to GoToGoats trait, you'll see is also a non-fungible token, right? So it's a whole new contract, but it's also an NFT, which is pretty cool. So anyway, back to this contract. They're storing all of that right here. And then we talked about these two a little bit, right? Public function, get views, and resolve view. These are pretty straightforward. Well, actually, just kidding. They're not straightforward at all. They're actually really complicated. But like the concept is that they just return certain metadata about the NFT, and I think that's what I'm going to keep it at for now, because that's really like the only importance, to be honest. Yep. And BC, I guess, do you want to I'll give you the floor. Do you want to explain why this is access account?
No, you can have it.
No, you go. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, but yeah, access account, it's important because otherwise the other contract, GoToGoats trait, it wouldn't be able to like interact with the contract or with that particular field. So in order, even though it's a let, no, you can still change the array, I guess, or dictionary.
Yeah.
But yeah, you basically need access account instead of anything else. Otherwise, GoToGoats trait contract can't do anything.
Yeah.
And how that works is that they have to be deployed on the same admin account.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. Personally, I don't really understand why you would have a access account dictionary, but let's actually look into this. So it looks like, yeah, so like BG said, this is access account. Now remember, back to the bootcamp, we talked a lot about access contract because the playground didn't support multiple contracts per account. But you'll notice that on mainnet here, right? So this is one account, but we have 4 contracts in it, and that's where access account comes in handy because we can read this across contracts, right? So yeah, exactly what BZ said. I'm assuming that inside GoToGoats manager is where they're accessing this data. Let's actually check it out. So inside manager, let's just search for like dot traits. I don't know. So no. Dot traits. Oh, here we go. Goat instance. Okay, so it looks like it's happening right here actually. So in this function, when you go to update the goat traits, let's see what's happening. So this is where they're accessing that dictionary right here, traits, and they're getting the keys to the dictionary, but it's in goat instance. So where the heck is goat? Oh, right here. Oh yeah, okay. So here we go. So it's minting, right? So goat. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's taking in a goat, which is a non-fungible token resource. It's force casting it to a GoToGoats NFT right here, and then right here, it's saying move the traits over the new goat. So that's why they need to access it in the account, because they're saying for each, trait in this goat's, trait, right? So background, clothing, whatever it may be, in each of the keys, go over it, and it looks like they're trying to, in the new goat instance, they're trying to put all the old like metadata or all the old traits into the new goat. So I guess that's why they're doing it, based on this line right here. Pretty interesting, actually. And I wonder, are they doing it anywhere else? No, it seems to be it. So yeah, so I guess that's why it is access contract. Now, to be honest, like I was mentioning before, I think it's sometimes a better idea to not actually make the dictionary access account, and rather to make a function, like instead to make this like access self, and then make a function that updates it for you, because I guess like the issue right now is that even in general, like when you have an access account dictionary, you risk accidentally modifying this when you don't mean to, but you can't do that with a function because functions are only called when you explicitly call them. So I think, like, this is, it's totally fine, but it's just a personal preference. I usually use functions to modify dictionaries instead of doing it directly. But that's pretty cool, actually. I like that a lot. All right, so then we get to the metadata piece, which is where the complicated stuff comes out. So the metadata piece, if you want to get the metadata from a certain goat, it looks like it's just a string-to-string mapping. So they're probably mapping like background color to red, shirt color to blue, whatever it may be. And they're doing that by, see, this is the interesting part, is they're actually storing all the metadata, remember, in top level part of the contract. So the metadata itself is not even stored in the NFT, it's stored in the contract. It's just that each NFT references that part of the dictionary that's stored in the contract. That's kind of confusing, but basically what it looks like is they have a dictionary right here called ID to goat metadata. So they're mapping a goat's ID to the metadata for that goat, right? So again, the metadata itself is not actually contained inside the NFT resource. It's contained in the contract, and the NFT simply points to it. So right here, if we go to get metadata, right, go to goats.id to go metadata at self.goatid, right? So that's how they're referencing it, and they're just returning that right here. So that's pretty interesting. And it looks like ID to goat metadata. What does it return? It returns a goat metadata right here. Boom. And inside goat metadata struct, which is right here, there's a metadata field. So that's what they're returning down here in this function. Pretty cool. So I guess I'll pause there while anyone has any questions. And also to everyone that's in here, hello. This is a post-graduation academy session for the graduates of the May 2022 bootcamp. So if you're here and you're part of the new bootcamp, you're probably totally lost, but that's okay. Oh yeah, so here you go. There you go, BG 0. Yeah, it's should be that link right there. So yeah, just to repeat, just in case, if you're currently in the new boot camp, you don't understand any of this yet, but you will in a month. So that's something to look forward to. But yeah, this is for all the old participants, the elders. And we're chatting in the chat channel of the workshop tab. I wish they made it a bit more obvious, but it should be fine. All right. So yeah, any questions so far? Oh, so the way I do it, BG, is it's kind of a complicated process, but basically, like what I do is I try my best to find the address of the contract, and then I just copy paste it. So like I literally just go to like this. I just open up like flow view source, and then it's /mainnet/account, and then I just copy paste the address, and then I just click on the contract I want. But yeah, so you can find it in the Alchemy Flow repo, or funny enough, you can actually find it in the Emerald Bot repo too. Because in the Emerald Bot repo, we actually support so many different NFTs at this point that, yeah, like it's pretty easy to find it here. Where would it be? I think it's in Flow Scripts check entity, I think is where I got it. Oh wait, no, it's in holdings entities. So yeah, down here, actually, for all of you that were at the event last night, this is the code that was actually, that's actually funny to show all of you. So yeah, for those of you that were at the new Flowwave event last night, this is actually the script that was giving all of you your roles. That's pretty funny, right? So you'll notice it. Look at all these imports we had. So these were all the imports I was adding in live time. So we had go to goats right here. That's how I found this address. Can you do that for Top Shot? Quarters, can you do it for Top Shot? I think you mean like the Top Shot contract? Is that what you mean? Like how to find the Top Shot address? Oh yeah. So you can totally do that too. I think the Top Shot one's actually really easy. You can look up Top Shot smart contract, and it should take you to a GitHub repository. And I think they should they tell you actually right here. So the Top Shot contract address is this one right here. So this contract right here. But I think another sneak peek, we actually support it in this as well. So, yeah. So look, so the Emerald bot actually supports UFC Strike and NFL All Day. We support. No, I guess we don't support Top Shot yet, but we will pretty soon actually. Yeah. All right, so I think we don't have any questions so far. But so we're chugging along. We're doing good. We're doing good. So get trade slots. That's I mean pretty much this exact same function, except it's not doing .metadata, it's doing .trade slots. So in this struct right here, where is it? Yeah, this one. So it's remember ID to goat metadata is returning a goat metadata. So the first function was returning the metadata. The second one's returning the trade slots. Pretty cool. All right, let's go down a little. Oh shoot, went too far. Okay. So then it's asking, is trait equipped? So this is pretty straightforward. It's just asking if self.traits contains key trait slots. So I would imagine, actually, for all you go to goats legends in here, what are the certain traits that you would imagine they have? Anyone have an idea? Also, does anyone mind volunteering their address so I can show it on like if you have go to goats, if you're not too shy, do you mind volunteering your Blockdo address and we can look at your goats? Oh, sweet. Thanks, Ashley. I'll do yours. Kobe jersey. Okay, yeah. So Kobe. So I'm sure there's like a jersey that like a jersey trait that maps to like Kobe jersey or something for your goat. But we'll take a look as well. And then public function. So get equipped traits. I'm sure this is also just looking at what traits are equipped. So let traits data be an array of. Okay, this is weird. What? An array of dictionaries. Okay, that's interesting. So for each trait in self.trait.keys, get the trait, right? So go to goat's trait NFT is a actual NFT. So get the trait, then make a dictionary and put the trait ID, the trait pack ID and the addition. Okay, so it looks like it's just making an array of trait metadatas, and then returning all of that. So pretty much it's just returning all the data about all your traits. So we'll call that, and we'll show that as well. And then the init function is pretty straightforward. It's just setting all the variables equal to the stuff that's passed in. Cool. So moving on to the much easier part of this, that all of you will definitely understand. Well, the graduates, of course. So here's our collection, and spoiler alert, like pretty much. Okay, so yeah, so spoiler alert, like when you look at NFT contracts on Flow, the NFTs themselves are usually very different. They're all completely unique, but the collections are pretty much like literally identical. So collections are so similar in how they're written, which is kind of why the Flow team wants to do like a new NFT standard where there's one collection for everything. But I hated that. Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely, Shane. So we're actually going to go over how to read the goats from your collection as well. Jacob, can we ask the chat? Oh yeah, so if anyone's curious, I mean, I'm gonna get to it probably in like 5 minutes. But if anyone wants to beat me to the punch, and you want to make a script to view the goats, that would be cool too. But we'll get there in like 5 minutes. Okay, so the collection. Remember, graduates, what are the 3 interfaces that collections must abide by? Anyone remember? Non-fungible token, dot, and then there's 3 things. Let's test if anyone forgot their knowledge. Uh-oh. All right, we got a few typing. Providers 1. There, ding, ding, ding. There's 1. There's 2 more. Receiver. And who else remembers? Uh-oh. It's not on the screen. You have to remember it. Oh, no. Yes, there you go, Njai. Round of applause. Round of applause. Woohoo, woo, woohoo, woo. Nice. Good job, guys. Yeah, so that's exactly right. So because the view source stinks, I guess I can't really show you. Oh, I can. So I just put on a new line. So yeah, collection public, metadata views that resolve a collection. That's part of the metadata standard, and goat collection public. So remember, at the yeah, close skill train. So for anyone that remembers, at the very end of the boot camp, right? At the very end of the boot camp, what was the last thing you had to do, right? There was a function you had to write inside the contract. Does anyone remember the name of that function that we had? It was called borrow something NFT. And basically what it was is we wanted to return all the metadata about the NFT and not just the ID. Yeah, you're right, Quasi. Exactly. Good job. Wow, look at all of you. So this is very similar. So borrow goat is pretty much exactly what the borrow auth NFT was. It's a way to return a reference to the actual NFT and not just the non-fungible token NFT, right? So inside the collection, right, we have owned NFTs. Boom, we have withdraw. We already know that. Deposit, we know that. Get IDs, we know that. Get goat IDs. This is, why is this more complicated than it needs to be?
That's because they use it for managing their backend, like some stock keeping of the goats.
Oh yeah. It also looks like they're returning goat IDs and not just IDs. I'm stupid. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
This is also why they don't. The goats don't use the UUID as their NFT IDs. So,
Yep. Yeah. So yes, looks like it's returning the goat IDs, which is this field on the NFT. This one right here. Cool. And then in addition, so this keeps going down. So yeah, borrow NFT, we know that already. And then borrow goat, this is just a more like complicated way of just returning the actual reference to the goat NFT. And so that way we can read more than just the ID, which is the only thing we can read right here. And then borrow view resolver. So this is part of the metadata standard. This is part of the resolver collection interface, but we didn't really go over this in the bootcamp. If you want to, learn more about the metadata standard, I would check out the video that Bam sent in the chat channel. But like in the one that we're all talking right now. But basically, this is just a way for you to like quote unquote resolve information about your NFTs, which is where I got the inspiration for the /resolve command. But anyway, yeah. So that's what this is. So basically, like you can type in like you can put in an ID for like what goat you want to return, and it'll give you the ability to resolve different information about your goat, which in this case is just the display because that's the only one that it supports. Right. So the only one that it supports is the display view, but definitely check out the other video because it takes a lot longer to explain the metadata standard than we'll probably have time for. All right, so it looks like there's a couple more functions here, so not that much. But one of them is some admin functions, so we're gonna skip that for now. And then there's public functions. So get total supply. So this is not necessary actually. So I'm trying to figure out why they would want this. I think it's just like for like how it looks, but this is not necessary because total supply is already public, so don't need that. Also don't need this function because this already like name is already public, so this isn't needed. Get collection metadata. Okay, what is that? Collection metadata. That is this right here. And there's no comment, so it's up for us to interpret what the heck this even means. But let's see if it's used anywhere. Collection metadata. Ooh, it's in the admin function. So I guess what this is, if I'm going to make a guess here, is this is just information about Goats as a project. It's probably mapping like founder, lamb, like is cool, yes. Price.
We try and look it up with the flow scan to see what they actually put in there, like on chain.
Definitely, yeah. We're also we're gonna call this function in a second here to see what it is as well. Then get addition metadata. So okay, so then this looks like it is what is this? Goat ID to uint64. Okay, so you type in a goat ID and it gives you the metadata for that goat. So that's pretty straightforward. This is also the same thing. Wait, are these not just repeated? What? Yeah, so these are the exact same functions we saw up here. The only difference is that this one was already inside the goat, so it already knew the goat ID, whereas this one is outside the goat, so you can type in whatever goat ID you want. Yeah. And then the ability to create an empty collection, and then that's it. So that's the go to goats contract. So do we have any questions before we actually dive into some code here? So can you talk about why you would put the goat metadata in the global collection versus in the NFT resource? So the reason for that, BG, is because think about yeah, this is actually a fantastic question, and something that we've been struggling a lot with in the NFT, the token minter platform. But BG, my answer to you is think about like what that would mean. If it's inside the NFT resource, that means that the NFT resource has to know about it at the time of mint. But the problem is that it doesn't. When you go to the GoToGo's platform and you press mint or purchase NFT, the metadata for that NFT has to exist somewhere previously, right? Or else you won't know what NFT you're buying. And you're the one, when you mint that NFT, you're the one that's setting that transaction. So the admin has no say in that process. So it's not like the admin can inject the metadata into the NFT while you mint it, right? So that means that the metadata has to exist somewhere as you're minting it, or before you're minting it, actually. So that's why it has to be as a global state, because it'll exist here, right, as in the global part of the contract. And then when you mint it, all the NFT has to do is reference the metadata that's already in the contract. Otherwise, right, if it didn't exist here, you would have to pass it into the NFT in the init function, and that doesn't make sense for how the project is structured, because again, the admin can't inject that metadata into the NFT while you're minting it. Does that make any sense? Yeah? Okay, nice, nice. So, yeah, this is actually a, not gonna lie, it's been a huge, battle point with the token minter platform, because, the platform supports artists uploading their art and then we make a contract for them. But what that means is they have to deploy the contract first, right? So we have to lead them through that process. And then they have to batch upload their NFTs to the contract in groups of 500 because of gas limits. So that's a pain point, obviously, right? So it kind of stinks, but that's just how metadata works on Flow. All right. So let us dive into some stuff here. So let me just go out of this. Let me go into can I just make a directory called test? Okay, cool. So test, init, and let's just open this up. I'm gonna run some scripts to to read this metadata. So let's make a little thing here called test.cdc. And here I'm gonna open public function main. Like that. And we're gonna import go to goats from what address is this? This address. Okay. So first thing we can do just to test is let's just return the total supply. So return go to goats dot total supply. Like that. All right. So if we run this, then what we can do is we can do flow scripts execute /test.cdc network equals mainnet. Oh, there we go. So here's the total supply. So can you all see this? Is this too small? Hopefully you can see it. But anyway, the result is the total supply of GoToGoats is 18,073. Interesting. That's a lot. That is a lot. So Shane says, so the admin is pre-minting the NFTs in this case, and then just referencing that when a user clicks mint. No. So it's not it's not pre-minted. It's just that the metadata is uploaded to the contract. So the metadata is in the contract, but as the user, when you go to their platform and you click mint, it actually is minting it right then. It's just that it's referencing, like, the NFT's metadata is just referencing the metadata that already exists on chain. So Q says, does that count include traits? No, it doesn't. It does not. It does not include traits. But you can imagine that I think the reason it's so high is probably because when you go to the manager, right? Remember before we were talking about uploading the metadata? Where was that function? Come on, where is it? Oh, here we go. So inside the update goat traits, let's see what they're doing. Where are they getting new goat from? New goat equals self.mint sequential goat. Yeah, so I think this is part of the problem, or I mean, it's not a problem, but it's just how they're doing it. Is that when you update your goat's traits, it's actually minting an entirely new goat. You see that? Because it's taking a goat that already exists, right, and putting that in goat instance, and then it's making a new goat instance right here, where it's doing self.mint, so it's minting another goat right here. So pretty interesting actually that every time you update your goat, it's actually minting a new one. Kind of interesting actually, right? Yeah, it's kind of cool when you look at it from like a technical sense, right? Well, let's actually see quarter. So here's your goat, right? So your goat gets passed in, and then look what happens. It destroys it on this line. So every time you update your goat's metadata, it's actually destroying the old one and minting a new one. But you're right. You're right, Ashley. Let's think about this actually. No, but Ashley has a point here though, guys, because think about it. When you destroy the goat instance, you're calling the destroy function. So do they decrease the total supply? Let's see. No, they don't. That's why. I think that's exactly why. So inside the destroy function, they're not doing self.total supply equals self.total supply. Oh my god. -1. So that's why it's so high. But I do the same thing on float, by the way. Like when you destroy your float, it doesn't decrease the total supply. It's nice to see like how many total have existed. But anyway, that's why it's so high. Yep. Pretty cool to see. All right, so Ashley, we want to try your account, right? So let's slash identify Ashley. Haha. It's sniped. All right, so here's Ashley's address. So let address tube. All right, thanks Ashley for being a participant. All right, let's get Ashley's collection, everyone. So let's say let collection equals get account address of noob dot get capability. So the capability, remember how we used to do slash public slash blah 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 blah. Well, remember what I told you earlier? They actually have a variable for that, so it's called collections public path. So we can actually say go to goats dot collection public path. Right, that's nice. And then we can dot borrow. What do we want to borrow here? We want to borrow a reference to a goated goats dot collection that abides by the what interface. So let's try the one that we know they definitely linked because it's the one they made. So the go to goats dot goat collection public. So go to goats dot goat collection public, and then we're going to panic if it doesn't exist and say Ashley was lying, no goats. All right, cool. So that's the collection, and what we can do is let's try to return all the NFTs that Ashley has. So first of all, let's get Ashley's goat IDs. Okay, so let's do. Wait, does that exist in this interface? Okay, good. So let's say return collection dot get goat IDs. All right, and that should return an array of UN64s. So let's see if this works. There we go. There's Ashley's goat IDs. Nice, Ash. Freaking legend. Okay. We got ourselves a goat whale. Nice. Let's go, Ash. Nice. All right, so that knowing that, let's actually try and get one of them, right? So this is a list of goat IDs, right? Okay. So now that we know that, let's actually go down here and do get addition metadata. Okay. So we're going to pass in one of the goat IDs and we're going to get the metadata for it. All right. So let's go ahead and just say let first goat equals, or let's just say, okay, so let IDs, let goat IDs equals collection.get goat IDs. Okay. Boom. Just like that. And then we're going to say let first goat equals goat IDs at 0. So that's just the first goat. And then we're going to say return goated goats dot get addition metadata right here. So get addition metadata. We're going to pass in the first goat. And what type is this? A string to string mapping. Let's go back and make that our thing here. Now keep in mind, by the way, that you're probably asking me why didn't I put like an argument here? And that's because I don't know if we talked about this that much in the bootcamp, but when you put a underscore space in front of your argument, that means you don't have to put the argument label here. So if we wanted to, we could put goat ID here, but we don't have to because there's an underlined space there or underscore. So let's see if this works. Okay, boom, there it is. So this is the metadata for one of Ash's goats. So here's the thumbnail CID, and actually, even cooler, let me see if I can find this on IPFS, if I'm not a total noob. IPFS.infura.io/IPFS. Let's see if I did it. Maybe I'm not smart. Maybe I stink.
Hey, you there, Jacob?
Yeah.
It would just take a little time. It just needs to pin it to that node.
Oh, what's up, here?
If you use goes only, there it is.
Found it. Found it. Woohoo! There's Ash's goat. Oh yeah. Woohoo! Oh, so great to have you, Bartek. Thanks for tuning in. We were talking about the metadata standard earlier, actually.
Yeah, I saw somebody ping me, and I saw there was this workshop going on. So I just came home from a trip, and I thought I would just drop by.
But yeah. So this is so for those of you that are wondering, the thumbnail is usually like another name for like image. And what this is called, this is this is like a CID or like a hash. So it's a bunch of random numbers and letters that you put in the contract. Now, the reason for this, again, to talk a little bit about metadata, is because this image, right? This is a big file, or maybe it's not a big file, but it's certainly a decent sized file, right? Images. Now, on chain, right? If we look at metadata, for example, let's go up for a sec. You know, string to string mappings are really tiny, right? Because a string is like, hello, right? That's really small. Like storing this is not expensive. But storing images on chain is very expensive because the image files are big. So the solution to that is to upload your image to IPFS, and then IPFS will return a hash to you or a CID, so that what you can do is you can put the CID in the contract because it's a string, it's very cheap, but you can get the image by going to that IPFS URL that I went to. So yeah, that's how I did that. Now, composite skin body file name, so skin body giraffe.png. So that's the image name of your Godash. Composite skin head CID. Let's check that out. I don't know what the heck this is. Well, let's check it. Let's see what this is.
So why it's loading? The goat's images are really huge.
Yeah.
By the way, they've uploaded the full version there, so it's pretty huge.
It seems like it, yeah.
So so the way IPFS works is the first time you access that URL on this access node, so you're on the Infura, is that Infura?
I think
is
so.
That
Yeah.
Yeah. So because goes by default uses something called Pinata.cloud. That is their gateway. So if you use that one, it will already be pinned there.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
If you look in the contract, I believe in the thumbnail, in the display struct, I believe they have coded it to the gateway, but I don't remember right now.
Yeah.
You can look later. But it just takes time.
That seems like there's a timeout.
See that? Yeah, because
There we go.
There it is. Yeah.
Nice. So this is what is this? What is this? This is your composite skin head. I don't really know what that means. It's kind of funny how I'm like reviewing the Go to Goats contract, and I don't know that much about it, but I love that you guys do. So Q says, can you help quantify what the cost of data is? To be honest, I'm not really sure. In my head, everything but image and videos are fine, and images and videos are not fine, so they have to be off chain. But I'm sure Bjorn has looked into this a little bit.
Yeah, so for Versus, we actually stored art on chain in the first drops, but you're kind of limited to it doesn't cache. That's the problem, right? So we had to use a thumbnail service, but I believe, I don't remember the storage cost now, but it doesn't cost much, like in comparison to other things. But for sure, it's more expensive. I mean, I believe we capped at 5 megabytes, and then we base64 encode it when we put it on chain, and it will handle that. But it doesn't scale well, right? IPFS scales tons better. So,
yep.
I can't find the exact number if the user in question wants to, how much it costs. But if you go to the Versus account on mainnet, you will see that we haven't locked that much flow, even though we have stored some arts in that contract or in that account.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, Bear Tech, for answering. Cool. Yeah. So this is allowing us to get addition metadata. So that's calling this function. Why don't we go ahead and call get addition trait slots? I don't know what that means, so let's check it out. Trait slots, and this returns a uint 8 optional.
The trait slot is how many slots a goat has for extra traits. So it's based on it's based on 4 is the smallest and 9 is the largest.
Oh, okay, nice. This is somewhat decent. 5.
Yeah.
Somewhat decent. Yeah. That's pretty much like the Go to Goats metadata. So, does anyone else have any like things they want to discover? But I definitely want to make sure we have time left for the FCL tutorials. Each trait has a rarity score, so the more slots, the higher your rarity can be. Ah. Oh, so like if a trait has rarity of like 3, then it takes up 3 slots. Is that why?
No.
Oh.
No, a trait can be rare or legendary or common, but each trait slot you have allows you to have one more.
Oh, got it.
That can be a legendary.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah.
And then your base skin also has a rarity on it. So if you have like a galaxy or a midnight one, they're rarer than the other ones.
Yeah. If I mean, you guys probably know me at this point, but I do not have NFTs. I think the total amount of NFTs I have are obviously floats. I think I have 1 Genius NFT, and I think I have, I don't even know what I have. I think I have 1 Genius NFT, and I have 1. Oh, I'm a sock holder. True. I have Basic Beast. Yes, sir. I have Basic Beast. And then what else do I have? Oh, I have a flunk. Well, Datfine isn't an NFT, but of course I have that. Yeah. No, it's.
You have a fine one too, don't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course I have a Datfine, but that's not an NFT, right?
No, not semantic. You have GNAs, flower socks, floats, go to goats, and blocks.
Nice.
In Fine at least. So we don't show everything, but.
Yep.
Have you had a review of the Rarible contract? Yeah.
No, because I don't want to. Because if we did that, it would just be terrible.
Yeah, so it could be an example of what not to do.
True. That's a great point.
On Flow. I mean, they probably have their own reasons because they probably come from Ethereum, or we know they do, so they do what they're used to there. But it just shows why it's very important to not do it that way. On
Yes.
Flow.
Yeah, so for a little bit of context, like Bjartek and I, we always meme Rarible because they make NFT discovery like legitimately impossible. Like
Yep.
Like there was a time where I was trying to verify the sock holders because socks are on Rarible, and I literally couldn't. Like you actually you can't. Like it's not possible.
Yes, there's one way of doing it. We have done that in Find, but it's very ugly and hacky.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
So the thing we do is James and Nish sent us the IDs, the NFT IDs of all the socks, and we just store that array and check if you have that ID.
Yeah,
that's literally the only thing you can do.
Yeah, Bjartek, let me show you something. That's exactly what I do too. Wait, let me because this is what you're talking about. Hold on one sec. So if we go all the way to the top of Emerald Bot, so if we go to where is it? Oh, I'll have to find it. But sock. Yeah. So look, we store the array of socks right here.
Yep.
It's so bad. Oh, it's so funny. It's just so hard coded. Oh my god. Yeah. This Rarible. Yeah. Look, yeah. Look, we import Rarible right here. We get the collection, which I don't even think. Yeah, it's linked like that. And then we have an array of IDs that we had James like manually figure out overnight, and then we just loop through all the IDs and check if it's one of those IDs, but just so ugly.
And the problem here is really if you go to that borrow statement, the problem is that they don't link Rarible Collection Public or the Metadata Standard or anything like that. They don't link that. And they only link that one, and then you can only borrow the NFT, but you can't get the data in the NFT.
Yeah.
So it's just... This is why we need default implementations, right? If we had default blocks in interfaces, then we could do it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, yeah. So, anyways, that officially concludes the Go to Goats contract review, and yeah, the next part of this, I know we're like pretty much already out of time. Holy cow! But we're gonna move into the FCL course really quick. So, for those of you that want to, get your hands dirty with some dApp development, this is for you. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you all a link to a repository right now. So please keep in mind all of this is not even officially announced yet, nor do we even confirm it's fully working. But part of this is to have fun and to test, right? So LOL, hee hee. Okay, so I'm sending this in the chat right now. So this is a link, this is a repository to a Hello World dApp. So what you can do is you can actually read through the README. It's actually like a pretty nice README. It has like nice images and emojis and stuff to help you out. But basically what this is it's a dApp that allows you to run transactions to change the greeting and run scripts to read the greeting. And then at the very end, it allows you to deploy it on testnet actually. And it's in Next.js, not Svelte, because I know that... Shut up, BZ. He's saying that because we do everything in Svelte, but yeah, we figured Next.js because you all like Next.js, so you're welcome. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna walk you through how to get started, and hopefully it helps all of you. Yeah, okay, cool. So what you're gonna do is you're going to go to this repository. Well, first of all, actually, there's a few things you got to do. So it's all in the setup guide. So let's just walk through here, okay? So here's the README. Hello World example. What are you going to do? You're going to deploy a simple Hello World contract to learn the basics of the Flow blockchain and cadence. You'll use the local Flow emulator to deploy smart contracts, the local dev wallet to log into test accounts, and a Next.js app, okay? So the final deliverable is a dApp that lets users read and change a greeting field on Flow testnet, all right? So checkpoint number 0, what do you need? Git and Node. Most people already have these two things actually. In fact, if you develop like even at all, you pretty much have to have these two things. But you can check that by doing node space -v, and that will make sure you have node installed. And then git, I have no idea, so GG. With the flow CLI, this is the only one that you like really need. Like also that you're gonna like have to install. So if you remember from the boot camp, I touched on this a little bit, but you have to go to the flow CLI, which I actually linked to right here. I don't know why I just didn't do that, but if you click this, it'll bring you to a link to install it, and you go to whatever system you're on, so Linux, Windows, or Mac, and you copy and paste the link and paste it into your terminal. So like you would copy this, for example, paste it into your terminal, right? And then click enter. But I've already done this, so I'm not going to do it again. And then if you type in flow version, just like this, it'll give you a version number. So that this means that you have it correctly installed and everything's okay. So if you type in flow version. So I'm speed running this because I don't want you all to be doing this in real time. I'm showing you what you're going to have to do. So after you do that, you're going to then copy and paste this, right? And you're going to paste it into your terminal. So git clone, right? And that's going to bring this repository onto your computer. But again, I've already done it. And in fact, I'm actually in it right now. So I'm in the 0-hello world DApp. Okay. So you're going to do a few things. You're going to do exactly what it's telling you to do. So in a terminal window, you're going to install the dependencies and start your front end. So you're going to run npm install. Okay. Just like that. Right. Then you're going to run npm run dev. Right. And that's going to start the application. So if you actually, once you wait for a second, you actually should be able to visit it on a web page. So let's just wait for a sec. Okay, so boom, it compiled. And now on a web page, if you go to localhost 3000, this is what it looks like. So this is the DApp right here. And I think it's pretty cool, right? It looks pretty decent. And then if you go to, so then if you go back to the README, for example, there's two more things we need to do to get it fully running, and that's to connect it to the local flow emulator. So you need to start the emulator and then start the dev wallet. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's open two more terminals. I don't know how to do this faster, but basically you're going to want to do flow emulator start -v, and this is going to start a local blockchain on your computer. So unlike testnet and mainnet that are like, out there and, actually hosted by nodes, this is hosted by your own computer. So it's your own little blockchain you're running on your computer. And the last thing we're going to do is in a third terminal, the cd emerald DAO 0 hello world, you're going to do flow project deploy. Thank God that worked. And then flow dev wallet. Okay. So flow project deploy actually deploys your contracts to your local blockchain. And then flow dev wallet starts the little dev wallet we're going to use to handle accounts. Okay. Cool. So then it says open localhost 3000 to see the app, and we're already here. Yay. Boom. So then this talks a little bit about wallets, and it tells you to log in. All right, so let's go and log in. So click login. And all right, so it brings up a little wallet for us. So this wallet is a local wallet we can use to interact with our blockchain. So BC says I'm a whale. Indeed, I have about 1 billion flow. Unfortunately, it's entirely fake, and if only I had that much money, right? But I don't. Flow well, woo, 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 woo. But yeah, so anyway, if I can click on either of these accounts. Well, let me click on the service account, for example. All right, and now at the top, you can see I'm logged in, right, with my address. But if I log out, log back in to this account, now it's a new address, right? So it doesn't matter which one you do. But let me just go back to the service account, for example. Okay, so we did that. Next one, checkpoint 2, reading the greeting. So click the get greeting button to see your greeting. All right, let's click it. We clicked it. Oh, it's hello world. Nice. Dab to my computer. And now we have hello world right here. Oh yeah, so Bjartek, you used to be able to, and it was so much nicer until they like made it different for some reason. I don't know why they did that, to be honest. Like, it's so much less convenient now. But
really?
Yeah,
Seriously?
it's so annoying, right? I don't know why they did that, but yeah, it sucks. Because I made a whole emulator tutorial on my YouTube, and then like 3 days later they changed it, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's broken." I was like, "Great." But anyway, yes, it sucks. But so all right, so checkpoint 2 is reading the greeting, and then checkpoint 3 is changing the greeting. Okay, so let's change it. So Change the greeting. Type a new greeting into the input and click the change greeting button. You should see a transaction pop up. Click approve and then click the button again. You should now see your new one. Okay, so let's type in a new greeting here. Let's say flow team changed. I don't know why it's popping out like that. That's interesting. Okay, there's one thing to fix. So flow team changed. Actually, let's just type in PR check smiley face. Okay, the change greeting, and we press approve. And now if we click get greeting again, now it's BR tech. Yay! So it's a very, very simple example of changing greetings, right? Now let's actually take a look really quick. So if we type in GG, right? Change greeting. So let's take a look at this for a second, right? So this is going to be really important to understanding, like, dApp development. But if we scroll down, look at how cool this is. This is the cadence code that we're running, right? So you should all understand the cadence code now, which is why when you're becoming a Flow developer, the first step is cadence, and then the second step is, the actual dApp development, because the dApp development includes cadence. Now you'll notice that this is probably the easiest code of all time that you've ever seen in your whole life. But yeah, so this is the cadence code. So if we bring it back down, click approve, and get greeting again, now it's just GG, right? So yes, nice. And then as the last step, we can deploy it to testnet, actually, which is pretty nice. It's just ready to deploy to testnet, but I'm going to leave all of this to you guys because I don't want to do this right now. But yeah. And then at the very end, it says make edits. And so this sort of leads you to learning more about how this actually works. So if we just quit this out and go back to our VS code here, we can take a look at this repo and understand a lot of the different aspects of it. So if we go to, it says you can check out the smart contract in flow/cadence/hello world. So flow/cadence/hello world. And this is the contract that we deployed. So when we deployed the hello world contract to our blockchain, this is exactly what it looks like. It's a greeting field with a function to change the greeting, and that's it. And it starts out hello world. So probably the easiest cadence code ever. And for all the graduates, you understand this now, which is awesome. And if you're participating in the June bootcamp, then you'll understand this probably in the next couple of days. So take a quick look at how your contract gets deployed in Flow.json. So you can check that out here, Flow.json. Here's our contracts listed right here. It's under deployments. It's listed right here. And then lastly, if you want to make front end edits, you can go to the pages, index.js, and this is the page that uses what is it called? Oh my god, what is it called? Help. What is that styling called? Tailwind. So it uses Tailwind styling, and then actually one thing we can also look at, the last thing I'll mention, is right here. So get greeting. So this is a button right here, right? It's a button, and when you click on get greeting, right? So that's the button right here. When you click on this, it actually calls this get greeting function. You can scroll up and see that get greeting is right here. So this is how we're calling that script. Is we're using FCL, which is the what interacts with the blockchain and between the blockchain and JavaScript, and we're running this cadence code right here. So import hello world, public function main string, return hello world.greeting, and then it returns that to our client. So anyways, if you want to dig into this, then feel free to, and have fun with it. And I'm also starting a FCL course on my YouTube, so if that helps. But anyway, that's all I have. Wow. I'm gonna lose my voice again between last night and today. But anyway, hope that's helpful. And oh, you're liking the course, Ash? I'm so happy. In fact, actually, yeah. If you've been watching my course on YouTube, what is it? So this one, executing scripts. This one. Actually, let's just go to the playlist. So if you go to the FCL, where is this? Learn FCL. Right here. Wow. Oh my god, I am just amazing. But if you go to like these videos right here, this will show you how to do all this kind of stuff. So if you want to check that out, I'm actually going to add that to the README to check these things out. pretty good stuff. Yep. All right, education at its finest. Who better than Emerald Academy, am I right? Wow. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, BG. All right, that's it. Oh, no worries, Q. And congratulations to Lil Q for graduating. I'll always remember that. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. And what's next? That's it. I'm never talking to any of you again. Yes, let's go. Just kidding. If you're in the June boot camp, I will see you tomorrow for his first workshop. I'm gonna pass out for about 5 hours and get my graduation stuff. And yeah, back to real job true. Gotta adapt while it floats. All right, bye everyone. Love you all, and hope this was helpful. Super cool.